Hi, I'm JK. This is my interpretation of Valmeeki's Ramayan in English, aimed at children aged 11 years plus. I hope you've enjoyed parts 1 and 2 of my book entitled A Son, a Prince, a Husband, a King, Ramayan and Interpretation. This is part 3. Thank you. On the three travelled further, northwards to the city of Mithila, which was preparing for celebrations. Flowers adorned the streets and villas. Vishwamitra and the princes were greeted by King Janak himself, who invited them to Seeta's Swayamvar as his honoured guests. Seeta, a baby found by the king, was no ordinary princess. To bring precious rain to his land, Janak had performed great penance. An arid field he had ploughed alone until he came to a stop, where he uncovered a baby girl, a princess he would adopt. Janak named his daughter Seeta, as in the furrows she was found, given up by Mother Earth when he ploughed the ground. As he took the baby in his arms, the heavens started to pour. Mithila rejoiced, the rains had come, and a princess to adore. Dearly they loved their daughter, King Janak and his queen, for she was the most beautiful and loving baby they had ever seen. Her loveliness grew with the years, renowned throughout the land, and now the time had come for a husband to claim her hand. Sighed Janak, Seeta is a jewel, a rare flower I have watched grow. So quickly the years have passed, is it really her time to go? Happily I could face wild beasts and demons, they offer no fear to me. But full of turmoil is my heart to find a suitor worthy. Replied his queen, dearest husband, I feel your anguish too, but it would only break Seeta's heart if your sadness she knew. Our daughter has blessed our lives, she must follow her destiny. We can only pray wherever she goes, she will always be happy. So to select a suitable husband, Janak decided upon a test. The one who could string Shiva's bow would prove he was the best. To the wrathful Brahman Ram, Lord Shiva entrusted his bow to fight against evil kings and cruel warriors years ago. On completing his crusade, he presented the bow to Mithila's king. Impressed by his honour and valour, he was most deserving. Such was the power of the bow, it could not be lifted by any man. To move it from place to place required the strength of many hands. But one day Janak was amazed to learn Seeta had lifted the bow and realized her husband to be this divine weapon would instantly know. A great competition was arranged, a Swayamvar to find the man, the one who could string Shiva's bow, could claim Seeta's hand. Arrived nobles, princes and kings from afar to take the test. Mithila's wealth was renowned, Seeta's beauty was matchless. On the day of the Swayamvar, with excitement the palace buzzed, with last-minute preparations for all the guests that were to come. From her chamber Seeta had watched many fine suitors arrive, upon elephants, camels and chariots, illustrious and dignified. Her head swarmed with emotions, excitement and trepidation. This day would change her life. Would it fulfill her expectations? Through the gardens to Mata Parvati's temple Seeta made her way, led by her excited companions, for courage and success to pray. But unknown to them that morning, in the grounds they were not alone. Collecting flowers for their prayers, Ram and Lakshman also roamed. While her friends laughed and talked, Seeta walked silently. Her thoughts were of the future, parting from friends and family. In the rose garden she paused. A moment alone I wish to stay. Please, go on ahead to the temple. I will join you shortly to pray. As they left, she looked around. Nearby voices she could hear, admiring the gardens and flowers. In the distance, 2 men appeared. They sought permission to gather flowers from the gardener there, who directed them to the rose garden, of Seeta unaware. Seeing the old man with his heavy load, the boys offered to assist. Said Ram, "Lakshman, collect the flowers, while I help, I insist." Out of sight, Seeta watched them until they disappeared from view. As she knelt to pick flowers, she pondered on the man's virtues. She was touched by Ram's humble nature. He spoke courteously, addressing the gardener politely, not at all presumptuously. Admirable qualities she hoped in her champion she would find. Lost in these thoughts, she looked up. Before her, Ram had arrived. Held captive by each other's gaze, both were unable to speak a word, but every emotion and feeling in their expression could be heard. "In your beautiful eyes," they spoke, "forever let me gaze, for never before have I seen such a sparkling and magical place." The moment barely passed when Sita's companions returned. Remembering himself, said Ram, "Forgive me, I did not mean to disturb." "Not at all," Sita blushed. I was just about to leave. Please excuse me." "Us," she said as she rose to her feet. Sita walked away quickly. Her companion skipped along beside. "Who was that?" asked her cousin when they were out of sight. "He is Prince Raam of Ayodhya, here with his brother Lakshman," happily explained a maid. "With Vishwamitra they have come. Did you see his smile? What strength his arms did show? Would it not be wonderful," they laughed, "if he could string the bow?" The excited chatter of her maids was too much for Sita to endure. "Until he proves his worth," she replied, "we need speak of him no more." But Ram had already proved to be the man of Sita's dreams. Her mind was thrown into turmoil. What could all this mean? Today was her Swayamvar, where a husband would be revealed. Steadily she tried to calm herself and these feelings conceal. Entering Parvati's temple, Sita and her friends knelt down to pray. But even in the silence, she could still hear Ram's name. Though calmly she had spoken to silence her excited friends, eagerly she had listened to learn more of this young man. She could not deny she was smitten, become captive in his gaze. She blushed and tingled all over at every mention of his name. And though it was wrong to place her hopes in this man unknown, before Parvati all she could say was, "Please let him string the bow." Back in the rose garden, Ram had watched Sita walk away. Like a bird she had flown from reach with her many friends and maids. She was exquisite, she was beautiful, her smile, her eyes, her face. Who was this heavenly angel he had met in this faraway place? Slowly Ram returned to Lakshman, back the way he came. None of the flowers compared to the one that had hurried away. Asked Lakshman, "Brother, is all well? You seem preoccupied." "Only with the beautiful flowers," Ram wistfully replied.